What's up, investors? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and in this video we're going to touch on Bitcoin, go over a couple of my favorite stocks, some recent news with the likes of Astra, and also earnings for JPM just came out. So we're going to touch on that. Now if you're new, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I put out daily videos, and if you're returning, don't forget to hit the like. It definitely helps me out, and I appreciate it. Now let's start off with JPM, or JP Morgan. So first off, this just came out and the headline reads, JPM kicks off earnings season with bad news. And looking through it, yes, most things seem bad. And of course, I'll leave you guys a link below if you want to look through it yourself. But their first quarter profit fell 42% from a year ago, and they're mostly blaming Russia's invasion of Ukraine, inflation, and supply chain problems. And the CEO, Jamie Dimon, actually warned of serious risks to the US economy, and apparently he was very brief, which isn't really normal for him. And he does say, and I quote, "We remain optimistic in the economy. At least for the short term, consumer and business balance sheets as well as consumer spending remain at healthy levels, but see significant geopolitical and economic challenges ahead." And when asked about a recession, he did say it's absolutely possible, but he didn't really go into the timing or anything like that. There's one thing that kind of just gets quickly brushed over, and it's the fact that the bank also reported they approved a 30 billion share buyback. So that, to me, is very bullish, and I think they're going to use that where they see fit. You know, if we do get into a recession, we see a big pullback, a bigger pullback for JPM, it's very likely they start buying shares and attempt to get in at where they think the bottom is. So to me, that is personally bullish news, but it also indicates that they might know something we don't. They might think that the price of their stock, as well as many other stocks potentially, are on the way to go down as we potentially get closer to a recession. So that's definitely not a good kickoff to earnings season, but I'm going to be keeping a close eye on other banks and what earnings we're going to get there. And next up, taking a quick look at Bitcoin, you'll see that we are now in this $41,000 range. We are working towards our 300 MA, and for Bitcoin, I personally want to see us break up over this trend line. We tried to hold it as support, broke down from it, hit it as a resistance once, came down, hit this base of roughly 39.5 or so. Had a double bottom there, and I mentioned that in a previous video that we might have this double bottom, this W fill out, and sure enough, you know, we kind of had it fill up, I guess, like you could say. It kind of filled out. I mean, it kind of chopped around before going to the upside, but now we're up here over 40, and I think it's personally interesting that we really didn't even test this zone, this huge, I'd say this is a pretty decent support area potentially, and we didn't really even test it. We came to the top side of it and just bounced right off, but we didn't actually test in this range. We just bounced from the very upper range of it. So I personally think that's good news, and if we do pull back, we will likely test this area before pushing higher. So we do have a nice cushion in case we do start pulling back again and testing lower levels, but look out for a 39,400, 39,350. If we do break from that, we're very likely to test this range here. As I said, I want to see us break over this channel, start utilizing it as a support again. We were respecting this channel since about mid-February, although recently, of course, we did break from it. And next up, we've actually got a little article here with CleanSpark, and I'm going to go over a couple of things here. Of course, I'll leave you guys a link below, and let's get into it. Going towards the middle of the article, they first mentioned CleanSpark. So if you guys didn't know, CleanSpark's College Park facility gets 90% of its power from nuclear. They go into the cost of energy, stating that the state has relatively cheap energy with an average rate of $9.93 per kilowatt hour, which is below the US average of 10.59 cents. And the fact that CleanSpark is able to negotiate better rates, and miners in general, I think Georgia fits CleanSpark very well because they have a growing complex of alternate energy production such as solar and wind, and adding nuclear capacity with Georgia's power plant Vogtle, though the project is still years behind schedule. So cheap energy, a lot of renewables. To me, it's obvious that Georgia is a great place for Bitcoin mining. And also Texas, and that is one place that CleanSpark is going to be going with that Lancium deal. And we're going to likely hear more news on that in the near future. So make sure you check out that article yourself. CleanSpark was just a very small segment. There's also a couple other Bitcoin miners that get mentioned, so check it out. And check out the links down below as well for BlockFi, Webull, Voyager, Coinbase, and Crypto.com. Got a lot of rewards for you, and I highly recommend it. And don't forget to check out BlockFi's crypto card. It's the only crypto card I use, and I believe it's a $40 reward when you sign up for it. Now, looking at CleanSpark on the chart, we did briefly touch under $10. And I have said before that while it's under 10, I think it's absolutely a blessing. And if we do break under 10, keep an eye on that $9 support area. Now, as for pushing to the upside, keep an eye on 11. We do have a bit of a resistance there, but once we broke out of it, we continued very nicely. And keep a close eye on the short-term trend. We are in kind of a downward channel. So once we break out of this may give us that bullish momentum we need to push through the 300 MA and continue back on this upward trend line that I just took off. You guys just saw it. It was right there. right about there. But we did break from this trend line, came down. I want to see us come back up and hold this trend line. But I personally see it as a great opportunity to watch and potentially buy CleanSpark if we do dip under $10 again. And quickly looking over ChargePoint before I get into some Astra news, you'll see that we did break our channel, tried to hold this area as a support very briefly, broke down from it, and now we're in a new zone. We very briefly came under 16 before bouncing back up, and now we're roughly in this 1650 area. We do have a pretty clear resistance in this 17, low 17 range, so watch out for that. And if we do fall quite a bit more, we will likely get caught at this 1450 area. So that's just some short-term noise for ChargePoint. However, long-term, I'm extremely bullish on it, and while it's under 20, I see it as a great time to just average through. They're expanding into Europe. They're going to take over market share over there. And we also have the majority of the market share in North America. So to me, this is a fantastic picks and shovel play for the EV revolution. And sorry guys, but really quick before we get to Astra, I wanted to say that AMD is in this downward channel. We came down to a low of about $94, bounced back up. We are likely to test that $100 area, so if it finds some resistance there, it might be good for a short if we start pulling back, coming down towards 99, 98. But keep an eye on it, watch us push towards that 100 and find resistance there. Now as for the downside, if we break this 94 area, we're likely to push farther down, so you could play it on a breakout in either direction. Now looking at it on the long term, I see it while it's under 100, even while it's under 110, as a great time to add to AMD, if you're looking out multiple years. Alright, now I was cruising over to Astra on Twitter, and we've got this announcement that they actually have a contract for Astra spacecraft engines with Stella. And this was literally just posted, guys, and I will leave the link below for you as always, but it's pretty easy to find. So Astra is expected to begin delivering their engines later this year and into 2023. So this can likely add to the revenue, and I know that their expectations hasn't priced this in yet, so we might see a bump in future guidance. And as quoted by Todd Byquist, Director of Programs and Supply Chain at Stella, as demand for small satellites continues to grow, we are always looking for innovative options to provide highly efficient, reliable propulsion for our satellites. Astra's spacecraft engine has good flight heritage and the performance we need to get our satellites on space on schedule. And as said by Mike Cassidy, VP of Product Management at Astra, their vision to deploy reliable, cost-effective satellites aligns closely with Astra's mission and demonstrates the innovative forces at work to expand and accelerate access to space. Now, as for Stella, it's a joint venture between Thales Alenia Space and Black Sky. So this is great news for Astra. It shows that other companies are interested in their product. And this isn't the only thing to look forwards to. We also have an expected launch coming up very soon, and we'll hear news about that very shortly. Alright, now peeping at Astra's chart, we are coming up a bit. I wouldn't say that it's because of this news. I would personally expect that, just small caps in general are quite up today. Finally, after about 4 days in a row of red, we're actually looking at a nice little bit of an uptrend. Now, as for Astra, look for this $4 resistance area. If we break from 4, we're likely to push higher. And as for the downside, if we break this 350, keep an eye on that. It might be good for a short, a breakout trade to the downside, a quick put in and out if it does break that 350. And this one too, it seems like a clear trend right here as well. Kind of a larger trend line, but that's another trend. We can see that if we break out of this level, it also bounces over the 300 MA, and we potentially break this trend line, we may push to the upside. So keep an eye on this trend as well. But that's all I got for you today, guys. Just a little mix of some information here and there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. With